Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
So, hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Normally, I tweet the stream out, but I'm trying to retweet people who are sharing the stream as much as possible because I've been dealing with a bunch of assholes the past couple days, and I have a feeling they are predominantly Andrew Tate simps because they did not like me quote tweeting their little god. So it is what it is, pretty much. But I've been muting them as fast as they've been coming in, or trying to, pretty much at this point, because it's like there's no civilly debating them or anything like that. Like, nothing about these assholes at all is worth your time and effort at engaging them beyond maybe roasting them for a couple tweets and then muting them, pretty much. But anyway, before I say hello to the chat and go over again what this top 10 is, Stieg, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Well, I'm right next to you. I'm not that hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, should have given me time to hide. Anyway, nowhere until next Saturday for Teresa's book stream. So I'm having a week off. Having a shit week too. I got a pinched nerve in my back, and I have to clean my apartment because I'm getting a visitor this weekend. I mean,
gotta love adulting.
I almost didn't, but I mean, since it was Pamela Anderson, I figured, okay, we can't have her get dust on her red swimsuit, so I'm cleaning. She wanted to pop over for some Gears of War.
And I expect her bopping over. It's like she's running in that slow motion again.
Yeah, that's why I have a lot of time.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly why you have a lot of time. Like
she's like currently swimming in slow motion across the Atlantic.
Yes. So yeah, I knocked my pad off.
And this stream is dedicated to Gravy D and Miss Martin Muses because
I was going to say because it's both their birthdays. So
and this is our 20th top 10. So this is an anniversary. So special thanks to Mara for hosting these streams so many times. So everyone clap for Mara or lose your hands.
Yes, thank you. Yes, clap for me because apparently, like again, those who support me, those who back me up, apparently you're all simps. But I love and appreciate every single one of you.
I'm really bad at simping. I insult you on a daily basis.
Yes, you actually regularly do insult me. But that's the thing, it's like, jokes aside, I very much appreciate everybody who tunes in to these weekly streams, whether it's the Cringe Factory, whether it's the top 10, the movie discussions, and so forth. I very much appreciate it because I'm trying to add a bit more positivity to the channel just because we deal with enough cringe shit on a daily basis, so do not need to talk about it that much during the week. So
also, yes, Trey, you got it. Everyone give Mara the clap.
God damn it. Anyway, let me say hello to the chat. And we will go into the top 10, which is top 10 film scores and soundtracks. And I have to say, I had difficulty with this top 10 for two reasons, each one different for the scores and the soundtracks. For the soundtracks, it was kind of difficult coming up with 5 because, while there might be 1 or 2 tracks in movies I've seen where it's like, oh, I like that song, you really have to work to figure out, okay, what movie and what soundtrack resonated with me or anything like that. Basically coming up with 5. Kind of difficult, but somehow did it. Although, probably if I had a bit more time, I would have gone back and maybe changed a movie or 2. But the scores had difficult with because it was narrowing down the films.
I'm glad you made a note of it.
But it's it's narrowing it down because I was always about the scores. I never really soundtracks thing. I I liked certain songs and things like that. For me, what resonated most was the scores to the films. So I would actually, if I liked the score enough, I would actually go out, and this is time when you actually would go out and buy CDs. I would buy CDs of the soundtracks and play them. All right, so never really did that much for soundtracks. So, but from the top, I see birthday girl herself, Ms. Martin Muses. Hello, good to see you. Gravy D, again, happy birthday to both of you. Keely, what's up? Good to see you. Trey, good to see you. Riker, Bond theme, Mission Impossible anytime and won't distract from the scene. To an extent, I agree. Yes, this is my kick. I'm now at 130 followers. Trying to get to 150. So we'll see if that happens. But apparently, saying I will wear a bikini for one stream makes me a thought. Hello, Corey. Good to see you. Sunday Brave Megatron. Oh, wait, Transformers the movie score is the GOAT.
He has a point because that has a good score.
As I was saying, it's like narrowing it down.
I forgot about that one. Shit.
I'm saying there's a lot. There was a lot. Where it's like, oh, I like this score. I like this score. I like this score. I like this score. Yeah, so Soul Assassin, hit the like and share the stream out. Thank you so much. Scores 1 through 10, all the Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, pretty much. Jaluk, what's up? Good to see you. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone.
I remember blocking Jaluk once because I thought it was a bot because it was a new Twitter account. So he corrected me on one of your streams.
Yeah. I mean, it does happen. It does happen. It's especially with now, I've seen a surge of bots.
Yeah. It happens now and again where you get a bunch of bots.
So, hold on. But anyway. So, make sure at the time of your life keeps them coming. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll won't stop, at least not right away. But I haven't really checked Twitter too much this evening. And this is my live channel. Thank you. I will be there Friday afternoon. I generally do a solo live stream for about an hour before jumping onto Twitch. Yeah, that's what he was referring to. Yes, and he teabagged me repeatedly in Splitgates. Yeah. One point he didn't realize it was me. He just saw a corpse on the ground and just went over and just started teabagging. And I'm seeing my death cam as it's happening. I'm like, yeah, that's me. My Rumble, this will be mirrored over there.
It's not teabagging if a woman does it, though. It's a clam slap.
So I still say teabagging. So hey Vanya, good to see you. Orange Chat Reviews. Yeah, I'm a score person myself. Yep. I forgot about Highlander. But I was racking my brains. I'm like, what soundtracks do I like? Making sure. Fucking Autobots, yeah. Saturday Night Fever is the best soundtrack ever. Purple Rain, Flashdance, Fame, Footloose, Dirty Dancing, honorable mentions. Well, two of those in the honorable mentions are actually in my soundtracks. So,
Roadhouse has a good soundtrack.
So, Princes of the Universe, yes. So, Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I had to leave a lot out. I just had to go with... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So... but anyway, so as per the tradition, roll of the die. So who goes
first? Do you want 1 to 10 or 11 to 20?
I'll go 1 to 10.
1.
This is when his die likes me. Every other time, it pretty much hates me.
No, it only hates you when you run into monsters and animals and
which will be probably rather frequent, I imagine, with Call of Cthulhu.
Or frying pans. Frying pans don't like you. What happened with the frying pan, Mara? Can you tell the chat?
you somehow scored a really high roll, and I got knocked out.
Knocked the fuck out
Yes,
with a
thankfully
frying pan.
Teresa didn't get
Swung.
knocked out.
Oh, that was close because she stabbed herself
Yes.
in that same fight, when you were being attacked by, well, technically the Conan version of rapist hillbillies.
Yes. Anyway, so okay. Now I set it up where it's like it's not exactly in order of like, I entirely that I like this better. I just did soundtrack score because there's like a score that I had to make like number one. All right, and if you know me, probably figure out which one it is. So that's why I did it that way.
Yeah. Oh,
probably...
Jaluk, the demon midgets are extinct.
Yeah.
That was a genocide.
Yeah, we pretty much killed every single one of them. Yeah, so all right, so for my number 10, it was a movie that will most likely be the ones and twos for June. I haven't like quite narrowed it down. But it was around the time period. It was around the time period that I was kind of like figuring out my music tastes, because I had grown up with what my parents listened to, and I'm like very much still love it because Chicago, Four Seasons. My mom listened to the Beatles. She listened to Whitney Houston. My dad listened to Diana Ross and the Supremes, Beach Boys, and so forth, and Queen. But it was kind of like a time where I was pretty much figuring out the style of music I kind of more gravitated to. And so for me, that soundtrack, while the movie itself is not a masterpiece of cinema per se, is American Pie 2, because I can hear songs now, even like years later, hear songs now, and I remember the parts in the film that took place. So, and it kind of helped me, like I said, get perspective on where I was gravitating to, and I figured out I was gravitating more towards the rock end of the spectrum, and the eventually like morphed into the more classical rock type. But at the same time, it's like it was also around the time when like Sum 41 was kind of breaking onto the charts and things like that. So and there's so that's like that ended up being my number 10 just because of like that, like, part of my life growing up and figuring it out. And this is when I was in college when I saw this, and I remember I actually watched American Pie 2 first and then went back and watched the first one because I hadn't seen the first one. And I remember sitting in the common room and watching the first one, and there was a girl I went to college with. And if you want to talk innocence, holy shit. Because like she said, like she could not sit through, I'd say not even a quarter of American Pie before she literally got up like this, covering her ears, and left the room. Does he 10 Jet Li's the 1? Metal Gear Solid soundtracks. Escape from LA, good soundtrack. Number 10, Mortal Kombat. I kind of forgot about that, but for me, it's really the like the Mortal Kombat theme, pretty much. So, well, I started like when I was, like I said, when I was like moving away from supporting like a band itself and just like realizing that my taste is more eclectic and it's more so liking songs versus liking the actual bands themselves.
I call it plot hole though, because I don't think you were in high school in the 2000s, but that would be in the 70s, wouldn't it? Anyway,
I can mute you on my end. Anyway, so that's my number 10. Just because it was like during time, like in a period of my life when I was like, again, figuring out my musical tastes.
Oh.
All right, Steve, you're up.
Well, my number 10 is purely for nostalgic memories. It's Beauty and the Beast. And it's because of my little sister. She got it for Christmas on VHS. And she used to wake me up in the mornings because she only wanted to watch it with me.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to watch it alone because it was, I don't know, I had to be there and watch it with her. So I've seen that one 50 times because little sisters that are 5 or 6 years old, they don't really get fed up with things.
Not
So
really.
yeah,
When I was that young, you can't really see the poster, but my favorite movie was Wizard of Oz, and I would like according to my parents would watch it constantly.
yeah. So I had to, yeah, I had to watch it with my sister, and that's a very soundtrack-ish movie, isn't it? Because there's a lot of singing and
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like just like most Disney films, especially classic ones. Very much sound like very much song heavy versus score.
yeah.
So,
So to be fair as well, as far as Disney movies goes, Beauty and the Beast is actually very good.
mm-hmm. Yep. Beauty and the Beast. Like around that time, it's like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin,
Yeah,
Lion King.
she had Aladdin too. Trust me,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
There was Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and Willow.
Yep. So, but I remember that soundtrack. So like there's like like no way like you can listen to Tales Old as Time and not picture the ballroom scene.
Yeah, and then they sing "Booty Full of Yeast." Is that
Oh my
it?
god. I'm not gonna kink shame you, Stig, but anything more you want to add?
No, that's my only animated movie though on the list.
All right. Well, we're on number 9.
Yeah, my turn then.
Mm-hmm.
Beverly Hills Cop 1. Great soundtrack, all kinds of cool songs, and the theme, Axel Foley theme as well. You know, very memorable.
I have that on my phone actually. So the
So
actual
if you,
Foley thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's basically if you heard it once, you know it, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
So yeah, Beverly Hills Cop, fun movie too. One of my favorite movies growing up, which should be impossible because I don't identify with the lead. I mean, I was on an island in Norway. I had nothing in common with a black man who was a Detroit cop that went to Beverly Hills. Yet I liked it anyway.
Yeah. Like basically shocker.
Yeah,
Cannot fathom that you could relate to any character beyond that of superficial qualities.
yeah. I just liked Eddie Murphy. I mean, hell, in the 80s and early 90s or whatever, whenever you rented a movie, if you rented an Eddie Murphy movie, it was a win. You know?
Yeah, and then
Then it went downhill.
which one was when Norbit happens?
I think maybe.
I can't remember
I
if there was a movie
still,
before that, like Eddie Murphy movie before that, where it like started going downhill. Because I remember like Norbit was a big one where it's like,
yeah. Metro was good. I mentioned
mhm,
that to Trey today. But yeah, he had a decade and then it started getting wonky.
yeah, and then like he kind of had a, I don't want to say a comeback, but at least he was like a little bit of one with the Doctor Dolittle movies.
Yeah, and voicing the donkey.
Yeah, so like he had a little bit of a comeback. So it's not like it's like like it went like downhill and stayed there pretty much. Okay, sorry with Pluto Nash. I knew there was a movie around before that.
I actually like Pluto Nash.
So, but like for me, it was Norbit. But anyway, but yeah, but there was a period where it was like, I don't want to say he was necessarily box office poison, but he wasn't exactly a box office draw either.
Bowfinger was fun.
So yeah, so I'm saying like he had like fun movies, but they're like he wasn't gonna get box office draw for a bit, and then he did the Doctor Dolittle movies.
Yeah.
And started a little bit of a comeback, and then he's also was voicing Donkey in Shrek. So
yeah. Eddie Murphy was actually the highest grossing actor in the 80s if you remove Star Wars from Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Because Ford was the highest one, but he had two franchises, big franchises.
Well,
Eddie
Star Wars
Murphy
and
didn't.
Indiana Jones, yeah. So,
Yeah, Murphy didn't.
so yeah, like I said, like he was a big box office draw, then just kind of like not faded, but dropped, and then came back. So now he's again essentially a name. So if he's in a movie, it's a little bit of a draw now.
Yeah.
So
Should be in the Expendables.
Should be.
Yeah.
If they keep that franchise going.
I mean, he's done enough action to, qualify.
Yeah. I mean, they brought in Wesley Snipes, so they could bring in. If they keep the franchise going because they're on the fourth one.
Yeah, it's gonna end with the fourth one.
So, but I haven't seen his name, so I don't think he's gonna make it unless they do one past the fourth one for whatever reason.
I think they have Megan Fox in the fourth one.
I think so, yeah. But I know they're definitely doing it 4. But if they do anything past that, then maybe it's a possibility he could end up in one. But if they're ending at 4, no. Yeah, they're doing and Antonio Banderas as well. Yep. So my number 9 is again I was going with like both with film scores and with favorite composers, and I excluded John Williams because he's pretty much a freaking given. But actually, he's not really my favorite. Not quite my favorite. But one of my favorites is Hans Zimmer. And so for my number 9, from a score, I went with Gladiator. The Gladiator sound, the score.
He actually rehashed some of that for the Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
So, yeah, but like a little bit, yeah. But for the most part, it was incredibly unique in how he like wove like the vocals into the instrumental parts, and then you had like the "Now We Are Free" ending, which like kind of like is following not exactly an upper of an ending. I don't want to go into spoilers. I don't want to go into spoilers if no one has seen Gladiator. Grosse Pointe Blank. Hey Dan. But for me, it's like I remember like seeing that movie, and while historically inaccurate, just the epicness of the music, like when the gladiator battles were happening, when Maximus revealed himself, all right, and so forth, and he's like going through, it's like he's like giving him his name, basically husband to a murdered wife, father to a murdered son. All right. So like the movie, were you not entertained, Mara? Yes, pretty much. Are you not entertained? It basically made me a fan of Hans Zimmer and like what he was able to accomplish with the Gladiator. So, like I said, I excluded John Williams, and like a hot take, but as much as I love John Williams, he's really not one of my favorite composers. I like works that he's done. But as far as composers, I can name others that I prefer more for different reasons. The Gladiator made him number 9, and basically that score by Hans Zimmer added it to made it into the top 10.
Well, it's a perfect movie with a perfect score for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like I said, like historically inaccurate, but again, like if you're getting your history from Hollywood, that's on you pretty much, but very entertaining, very well scripted, very well acted, and directed.
It was believable in the 2 hours where they told the story.
Yeah. So, and that's really all that mattered. Like, did it draw you in? Yes. Did you root for the main character? Yes. Things like that. It's like that, an actual villain. And things like that, when they they didn't try to make him a sympathetic villain or anything like that. He was a creeper, all right? Joaquin Phoenix's character. So it's like you said, a perfect movie, pretty much from beginning to end, entertaining wise.
He killed his dad with his man tits.
And Richard Harris played the Emperor.
The sequel is to focus on the young Roman kid.
Which is like, I have to ask, like who even cares at this point?
I'll watch it, but I didn't ask for it though.
I know.
Uh,
I'm saying it's like this many years later.
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the trailers will come out and it'll pique my interest. We'll see. But but right now, I'm kind of with Trey. I'm like, but why?
yeah.
I'm kind of like at that point.
I personally, I think it should have been left alone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there could be a story that springs out from.
I'm
that
not
kid.
saying there couldn't be a story. It's just one of those scenarios where it's like even when Top Gun Maverick was announced, I was like, why?
Yeah,
Now,
but
granted,
that one,
I love
one was
Top Gun
good.
Maverick. Yeah,
yeah,
I love Top Gun
holy-
Maverick. But even when it was announced, I was like, why? But why?
Yeah,
So that's the point I'm at. But I'm saying, like, if there could be something about the trailer that piques my interest, there could be something about the trailer that shows, hey, they were able to come up with a story and a believable story or something like that. But I'm waiting to see it, pretty much. So, but anyway, like Gladiator, or particularly the score by Hans Zimmer, number 9 for me. So, number 8. Right?
your turn.
Yes. So, this is a soundtrack, and this is kind of in part because I'm a military vet. And while this is a movie, and speaking of Top Gun, while it's a movie that's actually naval, the Navy, pretty much naval pilots, and I'm Air Force, I did very much like, again, songs like, I can hear nowadays, and it's like I can picture the scenes and so forth. All right. Number 8, Top Gun. All right. You have Highway to the Danger Zone. You lost that loving feeling. Like goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Like I can picture the scenes in my head.
And the
And-
theme music
Yes.
as well. I have the Commodore 64 game of Top Gun. It plays the theme music
Mhm.
like all the time.
Yeah, Top Gun anthem, yes. Like, it's like one of those where it's like the movie itself, when I say this, I'm not trying to disparage it. It's basically, simple action, so forth, basically raw machismo, things like that, and so forth. It's a simple plot, but the music, I think, just elevates it because it, again, even with soundtracks, it has to draw the audience in. And if you pick a song or the song sucks, it's going to take the audience out. And with the Top Gun movie, all right, just draws the audience in. Like, who doesn't sing along to again, like I actually realized just have 2 movies nowadays with 2 movies on my list with a Kenny Loggins song, right? But who doesn't sing Highway to the Danger Zone?
Oh, well, people just go something, 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 danger zone.
Mhm.
That's how it
But
works.
they hear it and they sing along to it, even though if they don't know
Yeah.
the words, they sing along to it.
Did you watch the Archer episode when they had Charlene sing the danger zone song?
I think
with
I did. I think I did, but I do know Archer goes Danger Zone. Like,
Yeah,
he's
Kenny
all about
Loggins showed up and sang
Yes.
Danger Zone for them.
Yes. So even Archer had it and things like that. And, like, you sing along to it, and then you have the Berlin song during. I would have to say one of the most cringe love scenes I think I've ever seen in movie history. But still, you have the "Take My Breath Away" by Berlin. Again, who doesn't sing along to that? All right. All right, Playing with the Boys. I think that's the name of the song, pretty much. Again, like another Kenny Loggins song in the movie. Like you start singing
Yeah.
along to the songs.
They had that one in Cobra Kai.
Yeah, because it was like a sort of a quasi allusion to Top Gun,
Yeah,
the dream sequence, pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's again like I heard that song and I'm like, oh, that's Top Gun. Like I'm like immediately went to like, oh, that's a Top Gun. So that's why Top Gun made the list at number 8 because connection in a sense, being like a military-esque movie. I'm a military vet, and the fact that again, I sing along to the songs whenever they're on, pretty much.
Yeah, I was a shit private. Just, basic.
So
Probably.
technically, I outrank you.
Yeah, I was basically looking after generals when they were out in the field.
Mhm.
So I was kind of like a guard. So whenever you see one of them in a war movie, it's it's the silhouette that gets hit by a crossbow and goes ugh. And,
That's you.
Yeah.
I got
And then-
like this is kind of like a freebie military story, but I actually had to stop myself from saying sniper check to an army officer when I was in Afghanistan because they really don't breed them for brains. All right, I have a reasonable amount of respect for officers, but they really do not breed them for brains. And I'm in Afghanistan, and the location of the base, you have these mountains, not exactly surrounding the base, but high enough elevations that, again, these terrorists, wild goat fuckers, uneducated goat fuckers, pretty much, they're not stupid. So all they'd have to do is see someone salute another person to know that that person being saluted is higher rank, therefore a high value target. Pretty much. All right, and I'm coming around this corner. All right, it's late. It's dark. All right, so it's like it's not exactly well lit where I am, and I get stopped by an army officer, and he's like, "So you don't believe in saluting, do you, airman?" or something like that to me. And I had to stop myself with like pretty much every amount of mental strength I had not to say, "Sorry, sir, sniper check." Pretty much. That's where the sniper check thing comes from, pretty much, because again, officers are not bred with brains in mind. But that's what it's like when they didn't want to be targets, they realized, hey, don't salute me.
Yeah.
Shoot
Well,
me.
I see Dan Blackroyd mentioning Last Action Hero. I actually bought it. It's on its way to my mailbox right now. I bought 10 Blu-rays. That was one of them.
Yeah. So yes. Hey, Ante Mando. Yeah, sniper checks.
I saw Last Action Hero in the cinema when it came out. Great cinema experience.
I remember being like kind of surprised at the film because I don't think the trailers did it justice exactly. And it's actually a lot more entertaining than the trailers made it look like.
I think that was the only time AC/DC released a single. It was the Big Gun song from Last Action Hero. Well,
look, more Andrew Tate Simps. All right. All right, but anyway. Okay, so yeah, so again, that's my number 8. So.
Yeah, my number 8 is Jaws. The whole soundtrack, not just the shark theme. All of it is great. Even when Robert Shaw sings, it's great. My favorite track in it though is actually when when Hooper and Brody goes out at night in the boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
unnerving.
Yeah, and the music is so perfect because it's calm but eerie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just oddly enough, it makes me want to go fishing. Yeah,
it makes me want to stay away. It makes me want to stay away from the ocean.
Yeah, the Jaws made me want to go. Makes me want to go fishing. Sorry, I like big fish,
and it cannot lie.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have this one on their top 10 list. It's and it's also my favorite movie. I've had it on many lists.
Mm-hmm. Which we'll be doing for the 1s and 2s in July. Jaws 1 and 2. Yeah, so number 7.
Completely unrelated, but I noticed some I saw something on Twitter, Terminator 2 trivia, that I don't think many people picked up on. When Sarah, in one of the scenes, she's sitting there with a coat on. It's Reese's coat from Terminator 1. So she kept it.
Probably didn't register with me because I had to go back and watch that.
I didn't notice either. But apparently it was intended.
I believe it. I mean, if it's Reese's jacket, then it would definitely be intentional.
Yeah.
But number 7.
Oh, my turn.
Yes, your turn.
Terminator 1.
All right.
The Terminator theme is perfect. The chase-ish theme thing is great, and all the songs, I listen to them regularly. It's mostly it's the triangles that do the disco songs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I've liked it since I was a kid, and I listen to it regularly. It's one of the reasons I think I like Terminator 1 more than 2. But I'll admit that Terminator 2 is probably a better written movie. It is, but 1 is still my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ghostbusters nearly made the list. Nearly. So. All right, anything else about the Terminator soundtrack? Before I just wanted to make sure before I give my number 7.
Nah, it's just awesome.
Mm-hmm. So my number 7, again, I went with the switching off, basically soundtrack score, and this is a score by Randy Edelman. I don't know exactly how, I guess, popular he is amongst composers in the film industry. I'd have to look up his resume, for one of a better way of putting it. But this score in this film, again, still resonates with me. I could hear the tracks and know pretty much exactly what battle's taking place, and so forth. And that is the score for Gettysburg. My favorite being the Battle of Little Round Top scene. One of my favorite, really, pieces of composition in film history. And I don't think, I have to look up his resume because I'm not sure how popular Randy Edelman is, how many scores he's composed. But if he hasn't done a lot, then he's being robbed, because he's very, very talented.
Which movie was it?
Gettysburg.
I have not seen it. It's on my list of stuff to watch. I have it. I just haven't watched it because it's long.
Do you know the actor Tom Berenger?
Yeah.
Okay. He's in it.
He's underrated.
Yeah, he's in it. He plays General Longstreet.
Yeah.
I want to see if you recognize him.
Well, I don't know, but I watched The Rocketeer and that Last Starfighter, though. So I have watched stuff you told me to.
Well, I didn't tell you to. Well, I mean, I didn't exactly tell you to watch this one, I don't think.
No.
But I am telling you now to watch it. It is long. It is on the long side, all right? Because it's it's
Yeah. But I basically I have almost watched it without you telling me.
Yeah, like I said, Trey, it is long. It is long, but it's one of those movies where it's don't just go off the length, in my opinion. Because for me personally, I can only speak personally, but it goes by fast because of the acting, because of the writing. There's a line in it, was one of my favorite lines in film history ever, when what's his name? Jeff Daniels. All right, Jeff Daniels plays Chamberlain. Okay, Colonel Chamberlain. All right, he's the one who defends Little Round Top. He's part of the Union Army. Okay, and he has to take on these Union soldiers who try to desert. So basically, they are forced to continue serving in the Union Army. Otherwise, they're going to be hanged or something like that. So he's basically forced to take them on as part of his units. And he's asking these guys why they tried to desert and things like that. And one of them is complaining about the officers. And he's says, quote, "They're not smart enough." And the guy who's complaining about the officers says, quote, "They're not smart enough to pour piss out of a boot with instructions written on the heel." So one of my favorites, one of my favorite lines, and that's in Gettysburg. Again, don't go off again, just the time, because for me it goes by fast, and it basically centers on primarily the battles leading up to the Gettysburg, right? It's July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, pretty much, and and the 4th being Pickett's Charge, right? So, I believe Martin Sheen plays General Lee. Tom Berenger plays Longstreet. Jeff Daniels plays Chamberlain. What's that? C. Thomas Howell is in it. John Deal is in it.
Is Robert Duvall in it? or was he in Gods and Generals?
I think he was in Gods and Generals. I don't remember Robert Duvall being in Gettysburg.
No.
Hey, Damaj and I, good to see you.
Hi, Demogeny.
Yes, I'm Fandom Menace again, Damaj and I, apparently.
Yeah.
But thank you.
And Geeks and Gamers too.
And Geeks and Gamers, apparently. But again, yes, the time is kind of like a turnoff for most people because of how long it is, but it does draw you in. All right, it does draw you in. There are some moments of levity, and so forth, and it's like there's again, it's Civil War, so it's not exactly going to pretty up the battles or anything like that.
I did watch that other really long movie you told me to watch, which was a classic, Lawrence in Her Labia, starring
Oh my
Peter
God.
Stool.
I don't think I was the one who recommended that, but yes, Lawrence of Arabia. Yes,
Yeah.
and apparently I'm a leader in the culture war also. So,
Yeah.
but example of a movie that I love that if you were to look at the running time would be like, holy shit, you can take a step back, is Three Idiots, the Indian film Three Idiots, which I had on one of my top 10s. Goes by fast, very fast. So
I mean, heck, it's not that much longer than one of the extended Lord of the Rings.
yeah, I'm saying so it's like give it a chance.
Yeah.
Give it a chance. It is a very good. Again, not entirely historically accurate, but you can't really trust Hollywood with history. But like Gladiator, it draws you in. It's very entertaining. The performances are pretty much every one of them spot on. Hell, what's that actor's name? I'm blanking on his name. Oh, he was the bad guy in Avatar. What's his name? Someone in the chat, please help me because I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah, he wasn't in Tombstone too. Played Ike Clanton.
Yeah, I'm like, I can see him. Stephen Lang, thank you. He's in it. He's in Gettysburg. He plays Pickett. He plays Pickett. General Pickett.
He would have been great as Cable.
Cable
in the early 2000s.
Josh Brolin did do a very good job, but Stephen Lang would have been like also a really spot on choice for Cable. But yeah, he's in it. He's in Gettysburg as well. He plays General Pickett. So, but anyway, yeah, that score in particular, like I said, makes my number 7. The score for Gettysburg by Randy Edelman. So, yeah, he's also in Don't Breathe. Yeah, so I was like picturing his face, but I couldn't see his name. But yeah, so anyway, number 7, Gettysburg. All right. Now, my number 6. All right. There's another Kenny Loggins song, and it's while the movie is not exactly one of my favorites per se. I'm like when I say that, do not imply that I hate it or anything. It's just not really a movie that I would like go out of my way to sit down and watch. But I still love the soundtrack to it. It has Kenny Loggins. All right, I'm not going to say his song yet because I'll give away the title of the movie. We have Bonnie Tyler's "I Need a Hero."
I know what it is.
Can you guess what it is?
It kind of brought home the bacon.
Yes, like another song where if it's on the radio, I dare anyone not to sing along to it and not to dance to it, and that is Footloose. All right, it's one of those movies where it's like I think the movie itself is actually based on an actual true story. I think the movie itself is actually based on a true story, as unbelievable as it is. I think it actually happened. So while the plot is like a stretch of the imagination, I love the soundtrack to it.
I have a fun story about that. I was on a stream once, and a person left the stream to fetch something, and he thought he had muted himself and turned off the camera.
Yeah. And
when he came back with food, he was humming Footloose and dancing before sitting down. I'm not even kidding. It was. I'm not going to say who it was. Maybe I'll tell you after the stream. But yeah someone. It was epic.
I actually credits due to Jennifer Saunders. I like her version of Shrek 2, but I've been re-listening to Bonnie Tyler's version. I actually prefer Bonnie Tyler's version now. or at least again, pretty much of I Need a Hero to the Shrek 2 version. And yeah, Stephen Lang is one of the best actors, like very underrated in Hollywood, because he's a villain in Avatar, he's a cowardly shithole in Tombstone, he's General Pickett in Gettysburg, and like he was essentially a chameleon. Kind of like much like Christopher Guest. And I don't know if any of you really know Christopher Guest, but like if anybody's seen the mockumentaries, This Is Spinal Tap, Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and so forth. He's also a chameleon actor because he never plays the same role twice. Like he always is a different character, same actor, but totally believable as a different character. Like you don't picture it's not Christopher Guest playing Christopher Guest. Same with Gary Oldman, not Gary Oldman playing Gary Oldman or anything like that. So, and like Stephen Lang is up there, but does not get as much appreciation I think as he deserves.
It's the same as with Michael Biehn.
Yeah.
Even in he did a 10 out of 10 performance in Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
But Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell gets all the praise. But I mean, even Powers Booth was fantastic in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Tombstone is one of the few westerns. Like I don't exactly gravitate to the western genre, but I love Tombstone. Absolutely love Tombstone. Like all the performances were just the casting alone was spot on in that film. And if it's on, I'll watch it. So hey, Daredevil. But yeah, that's my number 6. I'm not exactly going to go into the plot of Footloose. Like I said, I do, if I remember correctly, it is actually based on a true story. Like the movie itself for me is okay. It's decent, but it's really the soundtrack that elevates it, in my opinion. And again, who doesn't dance along or sing along to Footloose?
I don't.
Well, then you're crotchety.
I'm white. I can't dance.
Well, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's my number 6, Footloose.
Well, my number 6 is it's a movie I've told you to watch. I'm not sure if you have. Streets of Fire.
I've not had a chance to watch it. I've been going back and trying to catch up with recommendations past week or so.
It's a rock and roll action musical romance movie set in a fictional 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Starring Michael Paré. Rick Moranis is in it. Bill Paxton is in it. Willem Dafoe plays the villain. And Diane Lane plays the love interest. So it action-packed, cast list. And I think it's done by Walter Hill, who did 48 Hours. I think maybe. Can't remember.
I don't know the movie. What was I don't know.
Yeah, it's I think you'd absolutely love it. It's cheesy and fun with fantastic music in it.
What's it called again? Streets of
Fire. It's definitely a cult classic because it has a cult following.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
one of the movies on my list is actually for the scores is a cult classic. So
yeah, Streets of Fire.
Right.
If Trey, if you haven't seen it, it's one for your reviews, definitely. I mean, cool. the cast alone makes it worth it, right?
Well, I mean, Diane Lane, Willem Dafoe, Rick Moranis,
Bill Paxton is in it.
Bill Paxton. I'm recognizing all those names.
Yeah, and Michael Paré, who was kind of big in the 80s. He was a little bit of a leading man, then kind of faded.
Remind me, has he been in anything that? I'm not picturing him.
Google him.
Okay, I have to Google him. He's probably one of those ones where it's I know his face, but not his name.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So anything more for your number 6 before moving on to number 5?
No. Just everyone watch it. It's fun. It'll make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Willem Dafoe looks fucked up.
Well,
it's
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
So it's
he's they're having a fist fight, but he wants to have it with sledgehammers.
Oh wow.
So that's how they duke it out in the end with
Oh,
sledgehammers.
all
And
right.
and in that movie though, you can tell that he would be a good candidate to play the Joker. He just looks psycho.
Yeah, well, yeah, he would be a good Joker. 550 super chat from Albert. Thank you so much. If you haven't seen them, check out John Wayne in both The Searchers and The Cowboys. I think I've seen The Searchers. I don't think I've seen The Cowboys. Excellent movies. I like Wayne films, especially when Ford directed. Ford is, pretty much known for, like, from John Ford. Pretty much known for those films.
My favorite John Wayne movie is The Sons of Kate Elder.
Mm-hmm.
It's him and Dean Martin.
So I like what's his name? They did a remake of a place Rooster Cogburn. Liked him in that. Yeah, True Grit. I liked him in that. There's a movie he did during early in his career. It was a remake. It's called, I think, The Three Godfathers. It was it was a remake, like the version he did, but it was pretty darn good. It's one of these like outlaws who were trying to escape this one town, end up come across this wagon that had been where the man and woman had been killed, or something, or the man had been killed, the woman's in labor, and
they take care of the baby.
They take care of the baby, yes,
and they cover him in axle grease.
Yeah.
That was. You know what? Fun thing, Toriel. Lady Toriel. She has met John Wayne.
Cool.
Yep. That's
Three
epic.
Godfathers. Yeah, so it's like it like there was an earlier version of the film, and then like in one like John Wayne was in a remade version of it. So, oh yeah, Liberty Valance. I love The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Love that movie. Like again, I don't gravitate to westerns, but there are westerns I like. Tombstone being one, and Man Who Shot Liberty Valance being another.
Young Guns, very good, both of them.
All right, so
that's one for a double review though. Young Guns 1 and 2.
Possibility down the road. There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
So we're on number 5.
And still my turn.
Yeah.
Well, I have one of the best 80s action movies ever made. All-time favorite, Cobra. Fantastic soundtrack. This is it was made because Stallone backed out of Beverly Hills Cop, so Cobra was made. And it was greatly censored because it was going to be way longer, because it was going to delve into the motivations of that cult a lot more, and it was going to be downright brutal, that whole movie. But I think the studios stepped in or something.
And, I love when studios step in. They either like fuck shit up or they make it better.
Yeah, people have been asking for a director's cut of it because Stallone did one for Rocky IV.
Cool.
Just recently, which changed the movie quite a bit. It was actually very interesting to watch it. I think it's on
director's cuts to me hit and miss.
Yeah, this one was. It didn't ruin anything. It just the scenes played differently.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like sometimes like you watch a director's cut and it either enhances what you had already seen, or you watch it and go like, yeah, I see why they took this out. So why are you putting it back in?
Yeah, and this one, the killing of Apollo was way more brutal, and Stallone had more blame. Adrian was actually trying to get them out of it, but then Stallone didn't listen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cobra. Stupid plot, because they want to kill the witness after everyone has seen the villain. So they still chase her. Like, yeah, everyone's seen you kill all kinds of people now, including Cobra.
Yeah.
Saw it. So it's like you're not helping killing the witness.
Like you're not changing anything.
No. And Stallone's partner is played by the guy who played Dirty Harry's first partner, who also played Poppy on Seinfeld, the guy who peed on the couch. And the Stallone's boss in Cobra played the villain in Dirty Harry. He was Scorpio in Dirty Harry. Also in Hellraiser. You know, the guy who eventually got ripped to bits in the first Hellraiser movie.
Oh yeah,
So,
that guy.
Robinson something. Is it Tony
Have
Robinson?
have you read the book Hellraiser is based on?
No.
You might like it. You can definitely see like the differences.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's called The Hellbound Heart. It's not that long either. It's really not that long.
Yeah.
But when I first saw Hellraiser, I didn't realize it was based on a book. So
I didn't know that. I think you said it.
yeah, by Clive Barker, who I think had input on for the movie. So, but yeah, it's the book itself is not that long. Easy read, very easy read.
Yeah, I think I for Christmas I gave you a first person horror game.
Yeah, I
made by
Clive Barker.
Barker.
Which I'm going through my roster of games because I'm trying to find ones to add to streaming, so I have a variety.
Day of the Tentacle.
So
point and click adventure humor game that does time travel perfectly. I'm not kidding. It literally did.
Well,
But,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm going through. Yeah. So, anything more you want to add about the score or the movie itself?
No. Cobra is a perfect 80s action movie. All who deny that are my foes.
All right. Well, mine is an 80s movie. Like I said, a movie on my list is a cult classic. Did not do well at the box office. It was ostensibly made with the idea of a franchise or series of movies in mind to capitalize on the popularity of another certain set of movies. And what movie am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, which is scored by one of my all-time favorite composers, Elmer Bernstein. I don't
Which
think
I
gets enough love.
watched because of you.
Yes, whom I don't think it gets enough love. He is one of the best composers, in my opinion, ever. Love Elmer Bernstein and the opening score to that film. Again, while the film is not objectively good, it's pretty much the love child of Star Wars and Mad Max. Right? Not objectively good. The score is spectacular. Especially the opening score, which draws you in because you listen to it and you feel like you're going to be on an epic adventure. All right. There's I have the opening score on my phone. I'll listen to it occasionally. That's how much I love the opening score. And I still, like I said, not objectively a good movie, but subjectively, I love the hell out of it. Stars Peter Strauss as Wolf, Ernie Hudson as Washington, Michael fucking Ironside as the villain in the film. Molly Ringwald's the only criticism I have. Her character can be pretty fucking annoying at times. They encounter Amazons, deformed children,
not just
weird creatures with cocoons.
Cannibal Amazons in the sewer.
Yeah, with a dragon, pretty much. Yeah. And this is all because 3 women crash land on a planet that has actually been quarantined. So no one should be on that planet, and they've left people there that's been inflicted with a disease and so forth. To forget about it. But these 3 women that had jumped into an escape vessel to get away from a cruise ship that they were on, like a cruise vessel they were on, that's somehow
I feel I have to cut in.
What?
We have Amazon cannibals in the sewer with a dragon, right?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yes. No, don't you get any ideas?
Yet my mind is warped for having demonic midgets in D&D, but you're fine with Amazon cannibals with a dragon in the sewer.
Which one makes more sense? Cannibal Amazons in the sewer with the dragon or demonic midgets? Which one is more warped? All right.
Yeah. Type of 1 if you agree with me that something's off.
Okay, 1 if you agree with Stig, 2 if you agree with me. But all right, so basically, that's basically the gist of the plot. That Peter Strauss plays this guy. He's kind of freelance Freelance. I see those ones in the chat, you traitors. Anyway. Hey, Citizen Ronan. And Ryan Reaper. I don't think you know what the one is for, but thank you. But anyway. But, like, the Peter Strauss is kind of like this, like, I guess, free agent of sorts. Like, he takes on these, these bounties. So he goes to rescue these women, and it turns out to be something that, like, you never expected to have to deal with. He thought it'd be an easy rescue, and it turns like into a trek across this planet with a teenager who knows the way, played by Molly Ringwald, and he has to rescue these women from Michael Ironside's character, who goes by the moniker Overdog. All right.
Yeah.
So,
And he's a cyborg.
yes,
A
he's
cyborg named Overdog who kidnaps women. That's fine.
Yes, I'm talking about Space Hunter, Citizen Ronan. I'm like, it made my number 5 in terms of scores. I love the score to Space Hunter. Like I said, Elmer Bernstein is one of my favorite composers of all time. I'd like to be included. Yeah, I figured, yes. But again, the movie itself is not objectively good, but subjectively, I love the fuck out of it. So that makes my number 5. If you have not seen it, I'm only recommending it because it is a cult classic, and that is Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. It was either produced or I think it was produced by Ivan Reitman.
Yes.
Right? And it has a cameo in a way by Harold Ramis,
which I didn't spot, and I got stick for it.
Yeah, pretty much. There is a cameo in Space Hunter from Harold Ramis. There's also, if you've seen, yes, I was going to say to Luke, yeah, Colin Mockery. If you've seen Whose Lines in Anyway, Colin Mockery has a role in it. He plays one of the mutant guards.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say that, and Colin again, and
So we have a cyborg Michael Ironside who kidnaps girls. We have mutant guards. We have cannibal Amazons with a dragon in the sewer. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
But demonic midgets, that's sick.
You're warped. You have a warped mind. Anyway. And again, before I continue, so we can move on through the list, this role, Ernie Hudson playing Washington almost kept him from playing Winston in Ghostbusters, because he time and time again for the role of Winston in Ghostbusters, but Space Hunter had come out first, and the only thing that people when they pictured Ernie Hudson was the Washington character. So it took forever to get the role of Winston. Why did it freeze tube side?
You started skipping, and your camera's skipping a bit too.
Oh shit, is my internet fucking up again?
I don't know.
Oh, there it goes. It's
probably Michael Ironside doing it.
Just on the YouTube side. Because I refreshed the YouTube side. Yeah. So, yeah. So.
Oh, Gravy D dropped a 1 as well now.
So, but yeah, it nearly kept him. It nearly kept him from playing Winston in the Ghostbusters movie because of the how an asshole character in Washington. It nearly kept him from playing Winston. Yeah, like you know that the only reason that the Phantom Menace is being kept alive is because of assholes that keep bringing it up.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually been a thing since 2019.
Yeah, it really has not been stuck on it. They have hard, and it's like they throw it out there like, oh, look at the Phantom Menace now. And I'm like, dude, like where you've been? It's 2023.
Yeah, there's no Phantom Menace now.
No, and you're robotic.
No. No, it's your stuff.
How do I sound, chat? Because I have the YouTube side muted, so I can't hear myself. But you're coming through, and I'm hearing you as robotic. Hold on.
No.
It's gonna have an echo. It's not me. It's you.
Trey
And,
says the sound is fine.
All right, but it might be StreamYard. It might be StreamYard because I hear it's on my end. It sounds robotic, but it might be StreamYard. It's gronking.
Gravy says we both sound gay. Well, that's not nice of you on your birthday, sir. I hope you find a turd somewhere in your cake.
You're breaking up. It has to be StreamYards. Anyway, or something. But anyway. All right, so we're on number 4, right? So I think I said enough about Space Hunter. If you have not seen it, go see it.
Yes, we're on 4, but I think it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm saying it's my turn. I just want to make sure. All right, so this one is another movie that's the 80s, and certain songs you can't help but remembering the scene, remembering the movie, and that's Flashdance. You hear the songs, particularly "What a Feeling," Flashdance, "What a Feeling," and "Maniac," and you start singing along. You start singing along to it, and you gotta admit it's one of the most epic. Like when I say epic plots, it would not be made today. It could not be made today.
The actress has aged well. Like, she hasn't aged.
Yeah. Like you hear "Maniac" and like you picture it pretty much. And it's a film, not going into the deep, but like, it's like if you've seen it, like it would not be able to be made today because of the permeation of politics into the entertainment industry. And when I say politics, I mean not just political leanings, but just social justice and so forth. Like it would not be made today.
Can't have an attractive woman in a movie anymore.
Yeah, so
No.
you can't have it. Yeah, I'm saying it's like, again, like these are movies where it's like say like Footloose, where it's like the plot itself is mid. The plot itself is mid, but the music elevates it. So you remember the music, and like you can't help but remember like this scene here, which gets parodied and alluded to in multiple other works. Yeah, still do it. So it's left its mark. It still resonates today, but the soundtrack really elevates it. Well, she had a very boyish figure, so I can see that. Come on, StreamYards, Gronk.
They used a guy in Blade Runner too, when Daryl Hannah was doing the flips.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I mean, I have nothing against that. So, but anyway, that's my number 4, Flashdance.
Well,
Because I'll mark the soundtrack left.
My number 4 is one of my favorite underrated movies. It flopped. It has the best ship explosion ever put on screen. Cutthroat Island, pirate movie with Matthew Modine and Frank Langella and Gina Davis. I think it's a perfectly excellent pirate movie, but yeah, I don't know. People seem to not like it, but the soundtrack is fantastic. It's great. Not sure who did the soundtrack, but I'm terrible at checking that. But yeah, pirate movie. Who doesn't like pirate movies? You know. And Frank Langella
but they come be crap.
Is fantastic in it as a psycho pirate. He goes all in. So yeah, if people,
he plays a very good. He can play a very good villain.
He was his favorite role is actually Skeletor in Masters of the Universe, because he took that role because his kid liked He-Man. and he goes all in. It's bizarre because he's doing a fantastic performance while everyone else is shit and
Mhm.
doesn't seem to care.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like the guy in Street Fighter, the Adams Family guy, I think it is,
Mm-hmm.
Raul Julia, because he goes all in as Bison, and nobody else in the movie can act, pretty much.
Yeah, like it's like even if the movie itself is shit, like you can tell who's phoning in the performance and who's not. And Frank Langella, like, never, from my experience, like watching like the movies he's been in, like, has never phoned in the performance.
Yeah, he does not in this one. And if you haven't seen this movie, I think you would really like it. Classic treasure hunt, race for the treasure kind of.
You broke up there. It has to be StreamYards. StreamYards, fix your fucking shit. Like, I'm catching like every other word in certain parts.
Are people in the chat hearing me well?
They're saying they're hearing you well, which means like tells me it is StreamYard side. Because they were
Yeah.
answering that before. Because I'm catching every other word at times.
Maybe I can pop in and out, see if that happens.
Well, they're saying they
see if
hear
it
you.
fixes-
They're saying they hear you fine, but I said it has to be on StreamYard side.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, pirate movie, underrated, and yes, I think it went way over budget. It was directed by Rennie Harlan, who did The Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis and Cliffhanger.
Mhm.
And I also think he did Deep Blue Sea.
Okay. I don't remember Deep Blue Sea. Okay, they're saying that they hear us both fine. So again, I'm saying it has to be on StreamYard side. So it's like StreamYards. Yeah, StreamYards is gay. They add shit that we don't need and fucks everything else up that we do. Anyway, all right. So do you have anything else to add for your number 4?
No, worth it for the soundtrack alone, in my opinion, and Frank Langella. I became a huge fan of his after that movie.
Mm-hmm. He also played like a really good villainous type of character in Ninth Gate, like where like the movie itself is like.
I love that movie. It's very different.
But he's very good. He's very good. So.
Yeah, he kills the lady in front of the cult and goes boo. And
yeah, I know. Like, I love that scene. I love that. I love that part. He just does this boo. And he just like bolts. Yeah, there has to be a connection. Like I said, the connection is through StreamYard, so it has to be on StreamYard's end. But anyway, so we're on.
Maybe it's because I speak English and you speak American.
English. All right, we're on to number 3, and it's your turn again. It's like still.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. The trilogy. Great soundtrack. The theme music is fantastic, and all the side, other tracks are fantastic. John Williams at his best. Mm-hmm. I always like the theme for the Ark. Because it's very eerie. I like eerie music. It just really sets the atmosphere. I thought that you can almost hear it in the movie in the music that you're not supposed to fuck with the Ark.
Yeah.
It's like
again, like I said,
I guess
the score is crucial.
Yeah, would you agree if I said the Ark theme is haunting?
Well, yeah, I would agree with that. Because it said, like as I said, a score, like a soundtrack, much like a score, is very crucial to drawing an audience in and telling the audience without exactly telling the audience per se, what feeling they should be taking from a certain scenario. And if you have foreboding music playing, that'll tell the particularly when it comes to the Ark, that's telling the audience without having to beat them over the head that don't mess with this.
I think George Lucas was talking about the score for Indiana Jones and Star Wars, and he wanted both scores to be kind of like you can watch the movies without the dialogue, and you would still understand the story through the music and visuals.
Yes, and that's
And
exactly how it should be.
I think he is right,
Yeah.
especially with Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I'm saying because it's a way to tell the audience. It's a way to tell the audience what emotion the film is trying to elicit in them, without explaining it to them.
Yeah,
It's telling the audience like dread, happiness, and like it's telling like it's like how they should be feeling, like what's the tone of the scene and so forth. It's like it's itself, and I agree with Spielberg in that regard. It's in itself a story.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
again, that's why part of the reason why I like the scores I've listed is because in a way those scores, in a sense, of like are telling the story to the audience.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but my number 3 goes along with the fact that anyone who knows me knows my favorite superhero, and this is this film I saw, and from this film to the animated series, like basically permanently made me a fan of this character. And for score by Danny Elfman in 1989 is Batman 89.
I think he also did Army of Darkness.
Yeah, he's done a lot. Like you can tell, he's also done a lot for Tim Burton. Like you can tell Danny Elfman's style.
Yeah.
You can tell his style. Hey, Abomination. But in particular, the theme.
Yeah.
Like that kicks in, and it's like you are charged up.
You know what? You know it's Batman time.
Yes, like it tells you Batman. It's like and again, it's like one of the, I saw it, and this movie combined with the animated series pretty much instantly made me a Batman fan from kid to now. My favorite superhero, at least in the DC universe, because I like Spider-Man as well. But God, it's beyond some people to say, how can you like Marvel when you're a DC fan? Well, like there's things in Marvel I like too. Because I prefer DC over Marvel does not mean I don't like anything in Marvel.
Yeah, and 3, you're not in a cult.
Yeah, so it's like I love Spider-Man and I love X-Men. I watched that shit. I was into that as well. I'm such a simp. Yeah, it's the definitive Batman thing. Yeah, his Beetlejuice work. Like he has there is a style to Danny Elfman's scores where like even without knowing that he scored the movie, you can tell he scored the movie. And he's one of my favorite, along with Bernstein and so forth, one of my favorite film composers, just because of his unique style. And so because of that, and combined with my love for Batman, it kind of made an obvious choice for number 3, and that is the Batman 89. So, yeah, Vengeance is coming, yes. Yeah, he also did the score for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, you can tell. War Machine, like, you can tell. Nightmare Before Elm Street, you can tell. He also did the vocals. When the skeleton thing, Jack Skeleton, was singing. That's Danny Elfman. Because Chris Sarandon did the speaking parts. And then when Jack was singing, that's Danny Elfman singing. If I remember correctly. Like, you might want to double check that chat and look it up. If I remember correctly, that's Danny Elfman singing the songs. But yeah, that is my number 3. Right. Yes, it's dark, but oh my god, Batman is dark. DC is dark. Who cares? It's a good movie, and you had a race swapped Harvey Dent. But again, nobody fucking cared because they didn't make a big deal about it. They didn't do it for virtual signaling points or anything like that. They just cast Billy D. Williams, and no one cared. Yeah, look it up. I believe Danny Elfman did the singing. Yes, I believe Danny Elfman did the singing in Nightmare Before Christmas. So you want to get okay, Trey looked it up. I was right. Yeah, So you want to get an idea of what Danny Elfman sounds like, just watch Nightmare Before Elm Street. Like watch or at least look up the singing parts, and he's doing the singing. Yeah. So that's Danny Elfman. So not only did he do the score, but he did the vocals. So a little bit of trivia for you guys. But that is my number 3. Batman '89 for the score by Danny Elfman.
Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 score.
Mm-hmm. All right, so your turn, or no, my turn, number 2.
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right, so on to a soundtrack. Okay, it's a movie that recently came out. Most of the songs are not in English, but again, it has to draw the audience in. It has to kind of, even the soundtrack, it kind of has to tell the audience in a way what to expect in a scene or about a character and so forth. And that is Bullet Train. So, and has a version of I Need a Hero, and it was during one of the most epic fight scenes in film history. It's literally on a moving bullet train. All right, and you have Haruki Tanaka playing the father. I think he's he's known as the father. All right, but he is, according to these SJWs, I cannot like him as an actor because I'm not an Asian man. Shocker, but one of my favorite actors working nowadays, and that scene was, in my opinion, was fucking awesome. And there's a version of I Need a Hero during that scene, and you listen to it, and it's weird. It's weird. It's not a song that you would expect necessarily in that scene, but at the same time, it works. And then you have a version of "Staying Alive" at the beginning of the film. You have "I Just Want to Celebrate." Like each song is a reflection of like what's happening at that part in the film, and it's in my opinion, it's underrated. I like the marketing. They dropped the marketing for that film. They dropped the marketing. It was actually, in my opinion, a very good movie. Very much in the style of Guy Ritchie in the terms of it's not non-linear storytelling, but you're not confused in any way. Like you're able to follow. Okay, this is what's like. You're able to go. Okay, this person's connected. This person. Oh, that's the reason why that person. And but it sounds confusing the way I explain it, but you're still able to follow it and figure out what's going on. Yeah, also had a better Black Mass than what we got. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, also it felt like a Tarantino movie. Again, the marketing was dropped. They dropped it in the marketing. But I had to give it to Bullet Train. I had to give it to Bullet Train because it has a very fun soundtrack. Very fun soundtrack to it. And it just, the movie itself is really good, but the soundtrack kind of like, was like the cherry on top for the film. So that's my number 2, Bullet Train.
Well, my number 2 is well, it counts as one, doesn't it? The Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Well, that's my number 1.
Yeah, I had a suspicion since it's your number 1, you can talk about it because it's so I don't
Well, it's like just the score by Howard Shore. It just it beautifully enhances like the feel that you're in Middle Earth. Like you feel like you're in the Shire, or you feel like you're in Mordor or Rivendell or something like that. It's like very, very fantastical. Like basically just one of the most beautiful fantasy scores I think I've heard in films, and each movie, like the score felt different. Like you still felt like you were in Middle Earth. You still were watching a film in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but each one felt different. Felt different.
Yeah, they did.
And it's like again, it's like a score that like you hear a certain track and that's the Mines of Moria scene, or like or like the Bridge of Khazad-dûm when they're trying to escape, or that's the Eye of Sauron, or like it's like you can like for those who love the Lord of the Rings movies, like you can pick out like per tracks where each one is because of how well it just reflected what was happening on the screen. So yeah, like not really going into like each of the 3 movies because it is a trilogy. It's obviously like Lord of the Rings. It's Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. Was just like one of the best film scores. Not just the fact that it's a trilogy, but in my opinion, ever, just ever. No, I did not have any musicals on my list, but it's like would have made it a lot harder to narrow it down if I did, because there are musicals I do like. But yeah, so that's the story. Yeah. Yeah, Enya. Yeah, like incorporating Enya as well. But in my opinion, Lord of the Rings score is basically a virtual masterpiece. And Gettysburg was my number 7, Teresa. Yeah, so hey, Fractured Filter. That's pretty much. Why am I not shocked, Gravy? But I did watch the movie. I streamed it. Okay, so I streamed it. If there's one positive I'm going to give for that movie, I do like some of the songs they picked. Because they work in the scenes. Yeah, I'm like with Trey. The movie was a movie, but some of the songs they picked worked. Anyway, that's my number 1. So we'll let Stieg go into his, or like if you want to add anything to Lord of the Rings, and then you get into your number 1.
No, it's a 10 out of 10 soundtrack. It did everything perfectly. However, 1 is better.
I have to say something real fast here. The Tubular Bells, I was able to pull that and make it a ringtone for my mom. So her ringtone is the Tubular Bells from The Exorcist. Creepy as fuck, but I did it. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, Mike Oldfield did that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my number 1, which is the best soundtrack objectively, regardless of anyone else's number 1, it's Conan the Barbarian by Basil Papadopoulos, or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it's being played on an anvil, which it's supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to play it loud,
Yeah.
It's got an orchestra, it's got a very catchy themes. It just nails the atmosphere completely, and the main theme, which is called The Anvil of Crom, is one of my favorite soundtrack bits ever. Regardless of the movie, really, it's just the music itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's so damn good.
There was I was watching what's the series called? I think it's called like Toys That Built America or something like that, or like one of those series. And it's actually an episode that fascinated me in a way because it started with talking about Star Wars and how incidentally Hasbro and their infinite stupidity actually turned down making those toys because like they were approached by someone from the studio with stills from the movie and things like that about making a deal for a toy line down the road for what would become A New Hope, essentially, and Hasbro turned it down. All right, so basically this episode was talking about them how they were trying to play catch up with Kenner because Kenner took off. Because they someone at Kenner was smart enough to realize, hey, this is going to be probably a big deal, so we need to get on the ground floor with this. And Hasbro initially looked at initially thought that they would tie their toy line in with Conan the Barbarian without seeing the movie first because they were going to market it to kids. then they saw the film and they were like, "We can't do this."
No, it's not for kids.
I know we can't do this, and I
Yeah.
remember that.
When they did the second one,
Boys that made
stu-
us. Thank you. Yeah, it's like that was the episode. Yeah.
yeah the head studio honcho decided that Conan should be more family friendly, so they did Conan the Destroyer, and they didn't do anyone after that. It's just never. Some franchises has to be rated R because it's in the DNA. I mean, RoboCop. You
Yes, exactly.
can't-
In the origins of He-Man. Go ahead. Sorry.
You simply can't do Conan or RoboCop or something like that as PG-13. It's just gonna soy it down.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone gets hit by a big axe, you have to have blood.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why Expendables 3 didn't do well in the cinema, because they made it PG-13, and they're like, why is there no blood in this scene? He's getting his body exploded, but there's no blood. It's like, what?
Yeah, and there's no F bombs. I mean, 80s stars did nothing but F bombs.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they can't do it. But the Conan the Barbarian movie, though, it does not stick to the source material whatsoever, because the character James Earl Jones plays isn't even a Conan villain. He's from King Cole, so he's separated by centuries from Conan, or ages really.
Hey, Phil.
And the leading lady is a combination of two characters. Conan never grew up as a slave. That's completely against the character. But all that aside, it's a damn good movie.
Like, I understand some. Like, I'm not exactly defending when liberties take place, but there are times when it's understandable, just because some things can't translate from one medium to another. And if they were to do, like, let's say, page to screen, like, word for word, it would be pretty much plagiarism. So they have to, like, change some things, and something like they'll take certain liberties with characters and so forth that help whatever the story they're telling to flow.
Yeah, I think they just did what Disney Lucasfilm does with the EU. They just take stuff that they think is cool. But because the Jason Momoa Conan movie actually got his origins spot on.
So I did not watch the Jason Momoa Conan movie. I had really no interest in watching it. So.
Basically, Momoa is perfect in it.
So
he is more Conan than Arnold was. However, you have Stephen Lang and what's her name from Scream, the one who's kind of like a feminist now.
Rose McGowan. She's an interesting character where she's a feminist, but she's been calling out Hollywood.
Yeah, I think she just goes a bit where the wind blows, to be contrarian, to be honest. But
maybe I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, she was horrible in that movie. I mean, she gets her arm chopped off, and instead of screaming, she just goes ah. Yeah, it was. But the action scenes were great, and the soundtrack was pretty good. They did Conan's origin well, and Momoa nailed it. So it's basically like hit or miss all through the movie.
So I just want to explain this. The rights, it's like not like does not give them enough leeway to tell it verbatim, because then that becomes plagiarism. Like, it's like the rights only extend so far to as an adaptation versus, like, say, a reprinting, pretty much.
Yeah, and I know this from because I asked a very big author about this, about plagiarism, and he said you cannot plagiarize an idea. Plagiarism kicks in when you copy the unique execution of that idea.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
Yeah. So basically, if they were to go from like page to screen and they're executing it the same way the author did in the text, it's plagiarism. So like that's why liberties are taken in films, so that way they are adapting the source material, but they're not basically verbatim plagiarizing it. So just because they have the rights does not mean they have the rights to execute it the same way the author did. So just they have the rights to adapt it, which is the term in itself is like which gives them leeway with the liberties. So
also, if they do several movies based on the same book over a period of many years, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is never a remake. So the Three Musketeers movies that we've had over the years, they are not remakes. They're adaptations, because remake kicks in if they remake an original movie script, not an adaptation of a novel.
No, that doesn't imply that the author doesn't want the movie created, just that they don't want the movie to steal how the author did it. So the author could be fine with them adapting the work, but they don't want them to execute it the same way the author did, because in that way they would be essentially stealing.
Also, the director will want to put his own touch on it.
Yes.
Which seems to be the biggest problem in Hollywood now, because that seems to trump everything.
Mm-hmm.
The director gets a hold of an IP and go, yeah, this is how I will tell the story. Me, which happened with The Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's not exactly black and white, but at the same time, it does not give it's because a studio has the rights to a certain property does not mean they have the rights to entirely to that property. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I'm saying it depends on how much of the rights the author sells. So that to say a studio has the rights, well, what rights did the author give them? So that's where the gray area comes into play, where it's not entirely black and white. So, but anyway, so yeah, that is our top 10 film scores and soundtracks. So it ended up being a little bit harder than I thought it would be, but that's because it's kind of hard for me to come up with soundtracks because I listen to more scores. And because I listened to more scores, I had to narrow it down to 5, which made it difficult. But that is my list. So I'll also go through my 10 to 1, and then Siegel will go through his 10 to 1 again for those who joined in late. So from 10 to 1, it's American Pie 2, Gladiator, Top Gun, Gettysburg, Footloose, Space Hunter: Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, Flashdance, Batman '89, Bullet Train, and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and I'm glad you thought that was fun, Gravy D, because it is dedicated to you and Teresa. We did it for you. So take that to the bank. And, well, you'll be at the bank with nothing, though. Anyway. Well, my number 10 is Beauty and the Beast. Number 9 is Beverly Hills Cop. Number 8 is Jaws. 7 is Terminator 1. 6 is Streets of Fire. 5 is Cobra. 4 is Cutthroat Island. 3 is Indiana Jones 1, 2, 3. And 2 is Lord of the Rings. And 1 is Conan the Barbarian.
All right. Well, says I think we need a top 10 list for cartoon intro themes. Well, I was going to talk to Steve about that real fast because I saw the message in the private chat about possibly top 10 TV show intro opening music, which could be animated shows, cartoon intro themes. So, and eventually, I think there was Useful Assassin or something like that said Western list. Eventually, we will do a top 10 Western list. But since I'm going off of what Steve suggested and the fact that Stunning Brave Megatron also said something similar, I think that should be the next top 10, pretty much. Top 10, well, Megatron says cartoon intro themes, but that could be along with the TV show intros openings. If
Yeah, because cartoons were on TV, so.
Yeah, most cartoons were on TV.
But it has to be TV shows and cartoons, though. We can't have like Jeopardy or anything.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like fictional TV shows, like cartoons, fictional TV shows, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, X-Files, things like that. Like number one would be, can I hazard a guess, Trey, that the Batman the Animated Series, which would obviously make my list.
Yeah, shit. I have a 7 out of 10 already.
Yeah, so I think this will be the next list. Like, another fun list to do, pretty much. Another fun list to do. So basically, next top 10, which will be, like, I look at the, Oh, I gotta highlight Trey's comment. When it comes through on the StreamYard side, God fucking damn it.
What?
I was like, he said, I already know my number one. I'm like, let me guess, Batman the Animated Series.
Oh.
He's like, God fucking damn it. Anyway, so that'll be the next top 10. I gotta look at the calendar for next month. All right, so I would say.
Oh, he's flipping the table now too.
Yeah, flip.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, Trey. If you're angry, you need to show emotion.
So it'd be
also you should call someone and then slam the phone down.
Even if it's your cell phone, just like hang up and slam it down on the table.
Yeah.
Or just go to random doors in your place and just slam them angrily. It would be June 28th, because June 7th would be Cringe Factory. 14th and 21st would be the ones and twos. So the 28th, June 28th, would be the top 10. So you have until the 28th to come up with your top 10 TV show intros / openings. And they're fictional TV shows, so not reality or necessarily anything like that, but fictional TV shows. It could be animated, whatever, pretty much.
Narrowing it down to 10 might be a problem for me because
I did watch a lot of TV, so
I watched. Heck, I mean, the intro music to Black Sails is fantastic too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably if it's not an intro, then you can't really count it. So, but anyway, so yeah, thank you all for hanging out with us for this top 10. So again, next top 10 will be the top 10 TV shows intros / openings. Next week we'll begin the ones and twos for this month, and they are Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. So you have until next week at 8 p.m. Eastern to watch the first Top Gun film. All right, so we'll be talking about that next week. And then the following week, because I'm timing it around Memorial Day, talking about Top Gun Maverick. So those are the ones and twos for this month. And then next month, I'll figure it out. It's either going to be American Pie 1 and 2 or Bill and Ted 1 and 2. Just because Steve here said he didn't like the Bill and Ted movies.
When is Jaws, though?
July.
Oh, July. Okay.
Yes. July. Like, that's July. So it's like, we're not even, like, there's not even going to be a poll or a debate or anything. Jaws 1 and 2 is in July.
I'm not even going to watch Bill and Ted the stream. To not even give.
I'm saying it's going to be, it's probably, if I'm going to, like, let you know, it's probably going to be American Pie 1 and 2. Because I was trying to come up with, like, movies that were, like, in a series or something that's kind of set around, like, students graduating, things like that.
Well, hell, Porky's 1 and 2.
We'll see, but it might end up being. I initially picked American Pie 1 and 2 because of the article I went into about how problematic American Pie 1 and 2 is according to teenagers nowadays.
Because teenagers are pussies nowadays. So.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I picked those.
Yeah.
But I think so eventually we'll do Porky's 1 and 2, but I think I'm going to do American Pie 1 and 2 for next month. But for July, just to let you know, and I'll remind you all, I'm going to switch up the schedule because I want to time the Jaws discussions around July 4th. And because July 4th is a Tuesday, all right, I want well, instead of Cringe Factory being the first Wednesday in the month, it'll be the 1s and 2s. So July 5th and 12th will be Jaws 1 and 2, since it's around July 4th. And then we'll do the Cringe Factory on the 19th, and on the 26th will be the top 10 for July. So, but there it is. So I'll reiterate the schedule moving forward. But again, for the rest of this month, you have until 8 p.m. next Wednesday to watch Top Gun, because we'll be going into that next week, and then the following week, Top Gun Maverick, for this kind of like, in a way, commemorate Memorial Day. So around that. So, Stig, before I play the outro, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Teresa's channel next Saturday. Except that, I don't know. I sometimes pop on randomly with Tommy or something. Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, but I don't do as much YouTube as I used to before. Not even close. And I'm happy with it, so I stick with a select few.
It is a grind. It is a grind.
Yeah, it's and on my end, it's shit for my sleep, because evenings over there is 3 and 4 a.m. or something my time.
Yeah. So yeah, this is Stig's Twitter. This is Ms. Martin Music channel. Go give her a follow over there. She's getting up there. She's getting close, fairly close to 1,000. I think she's almost at 800. So
Teresa has started kind of like a new series of videos where she will talk about certain fantasy writers, and she's already done Robert E. Howard, and it was a 10 out of 10 video. So everyone go over there and watch that one. And I think she's doing Robert Jordan next. The guy wrote Wheel of Time and some Conan books too. Actually, he was a Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart. He flew while George Martin fled to Canada to avoid being drafted. Robert Jordan got a Purple Heart flying a chopper in Vietnam. He got shot down too. So
yeah,
sadly, he has passed away now, though.
Yes, this is my Twitch. I'll be there tomorrow evening about 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't know what I'll play. Probably, chances are, given the fact that I'm kind of like tired by the evening, I might just jump on to Apex. It's easy to jump on for a couple hours playing some Apex. But Friday, I will be on Kick, and I'm about 16 away from reaching 150 right now. I'm going to be trying my hand at playing the Bigfoot game by myself, but I am going to try. And it most likely fail spectacularly, but don't really care, because
Thank you. 80s game idea.
Yes. But anyway, that's what I'll be playing on Friday. So, like I said, not sure what I'm going to play, but most likely will just jump onto Apex tomorrow while I figure out what games I'll be adding in terms of like schedule for streams. It is a game. I'm not going to cosplay as it, and I'm playing it on Steam. Hopefully, I'll be playing it on Steam. We'll see if it works. And Halo 3, I'm seeing Trace question. That'll be, if not Saturday, because I had to figure out whose channel Talk Nerdy to Us will be on for Saturday evening, since we've skipped a couple. If not Saturday, then definitely Sunday. Definitely Sunday will be the Halo 3 campaign, since I finished Halo 3 ODST. So, I'll figure something out. But like I said, I'm going to try adding more games to the roster, so that way I'm not just playing one or two of the same game. So thank you for everyone again for hanging out with me and Stig as we went through our top 10. I'm saying most likely we'll fail spectacularly, but I'm going to try my hand at it. But anyway, thank you all for hanging out with us. We will see you all next week for the 1s and 2s with Top Gun. So have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you all next time. So take care.
And remember not to stick anything in the lower glory hole, because it could be a demonic midget behind it.
Well, there you go.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.